WWE fans, actually bringing a brand new unboxing from Ringside Collectibles where you can use discount code TANNER, TANN, EAR, all caps, to save 10% at checkout. So getting into this unboxing, we have a massive package right here. I'm excited to see what's inside of it. Let's get this bad boy cut open. So once again, you can go to Ringside Collectibles, use the discount code TANNER to save 10% at checkout and save you some money. Right, let's see what's inside this package right here. It looks like we've got Elite 83 right there. This is an interesting Elite Series only because there's only 5 figures in this set. I believe there's usually 6. That's what everybody's saying. But we have the first figure here. We have the Drew McIntyre, looking very nice. Got the smiley head sculpt and the brand new skin tone. Take a closer look at that later in the video. We get the first ever King Corbin in the Elite line, looking very nice. We get the brand new Edge, which I think is going to be the best selling figure in this entire set. We're going to take a look at the torso later in the video, but very nice looking Edge. And then we get another figure, which I kind of feel like I'm going to keep mock just for later in the future. I just feel like this figure looks better in packaging, especially because it's a legend, Dusty Rhodes, but looking very nice. And then last and certainly not least, this is also going to be one of the best selling figures. Let's get it out. We have Sasha Banks with the blue hair. So very nice. We got 5 figures in this set. No variant, which is totally fine. But we're going to take a closer look at each of these 5 figures. Let's get right into it. Alrighty, we're going to start things off with the legit boss, Sasha Banks. And I got to say, this is probably going to be the best Sasha Banks we've ever gotten. We got the updated blue hair. We got the cool ring attire, and the overall fantastic looking gear on this figure. We also got some accessories. There's the back of the packaging: Raw Women's Champion, Women's Tag Team Champion, NXT Women's Champion, as well as SmackDown Women's Champion. But I guess at the time of doing all the printing for the boxes and that kind of stuff, she wasn't SmackDown Women's Champion yet, which is totally understandable. Alright guys, now we're going to get Sasha Banks cracked open. Alrighty guys, so we have the Sasha Banks out of the package, and I'm going to say right up front that I am probably going to not bash the figure, but I'm going to critique the hell out of this figure, just because I feel like there was so much potential coming into this figure, especially the amount of time we waited to finally get it. So first things first, I'm not the biggest fan of the rubber jacket. I know that they use the rubber jacket to, save money and to get better textures and that kind of stuff on the figure, and to overall make it look better, but when you're trying to do different poses and stuff, it's kind of hard to do that. And they did add the Kairi Sane feature with the jacket, how you can move the arms and stuff, but that doesn't really help, because if you want to move the arms down like that, it doesn't match up and it just doesn't look right. So and they also added that feature so you could take off the jacket, which is total pain in the butt, and you're at risk of breaking the arm peg. So I'm not the biggest fan of that feature. And then the glasses, I feel like there's not a lot of detail, but it is what it is. And then we get these cool little boss accessory things right there that she wears on her fingers. And then actually this is my biggest gripe. It is the no ankle pivot. There's no ankle pivot. Like, I thought we were getting somewhere with women's figures, but maybe at the time of making this figure or producing this figure, they hadn't done this yet. I don't know. I also feel like it's like backwards. Like the kick pads are, maybe they're not backwards. It just kind of feels backwards to me. I have no idea why, but yeah, I'm going to stop ranting on this figure. I think it still looks nice. Let's get this jacket off. It's going to be a pain in the butt. I'm going to do it on camera just so you guys can see how much of a pain in the butt it's going to be. So we have to take the hands off. Oh geez, I'm scared I'm gonna break this. And then you get the jacket off. I can promise you right now, this jacket is not going on this figure ever again. Here, I don't even know how I'm gonna do this on camera. This is a pain in the butt. If they did like a removable head feature or something like that, that would be way better, but no. We're getting this, and it's super hard. Here, let me do it off camera so I do not break the figure. Okay, so I finally got the jacket off, and I gotta say that was damn near impossible getting this off. I legit thought I was gonna have to cut it off. It was so impossible. Leave it in the comments down below if it took you like literally 5 minutes to get this off. It felt like it was attached to the figure, and my fingers are on fire right now and freaking hurt. But yeah, we do get some accessories. We get the open hands and whatnot. We do get the boss ring things, and we also get the boss sunglasses. But here's the overall Sasha Banks figure. This is what we came here for. I think the head sculpt looks fantastic. The likeness is definitely there. We get the blue coloring, which I think is a fantastic blue. I actually like Sasha Banks better with her blue hair, so very cool. And then I feel like, I don't know if like there's missing detail over here, but it just looks like those like bumps right there should be like silver or something. I'm not sure. I'm gonna look that up. But we do get all the straps and the arms. Everything looks nice. We get the design on the back, Sasha Banks, all the great blue designs, and then we get the kick pads. Boss, it says legit boss, very cool. I like the back overall more because it has the white feature to it. But this is overall a very nice figure. Just the accessories are a pain in the butt, and the ankle pivot sucks. But we're going to rank these figures at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. Here's the Dusty Rhodes. I decided to leave this mint on card just because I like the look of it better in the package. I don't really want to take it out and pose it. I just think it looks better in the package, but he does seem to come with like a pleather type material coat with the classic polka dots on there, with the red elbow pad. This seems like the same Dusty Rhodes we got last time, maybe a different head sculpt, different gear, but overall the same mold and everything. We got the hat, we get the chokeslam hands, we got the open Finn Balor hands, and we got the fisted hands. But overall, it looks like a great Dusty Rhodes figure. I want this on my wall rather than open. So there's that. I just think it looks very nice. And if you're a huge Dusty Rhodes fan, I definitely recommend picking up this Dusty Rhodes. It's definitely classic looking, and it's just a very fantastic looking figure. Let's move on. Moving on, to keep you guys interested, I'm going to move on to potentially the best figure in the set. We have the Rated R Superstar Edge, and surprisingly, I was kind of a bigger fan of the variant for once. I'm never really the biggest fan of the variant gears that we get out of the figures, but I was actually a bigger fan of the variant on here. But at least with the regular design or the regular colors for the Edge, we are getting non-black tights. We're getting the gray ones, which is very nice. The other ones were like green, red, and black, but we got gray, red, and black and silver on this one. So let's get the Rated R Superstar cracked open. So we've got the Rated R Superstar, and boy, am I impressed with this figure. I remember the exact moment Edge returned at the Royal Rumble. The first thing I thought in my head was, are we going to get a brand new Edge figure in the Mattel line? And I'm like, if we do, it's probably going to be like early 2021. And it is late 2020 that I'm getting this. So I am very, very happy, and I feel very lucky to have this in my collection this early, you know, to his return. Because usually it takes Mattel around a year to produce a brand new looking style for the figures or for the Superstar. But we got Edge right here, and I think this figure is just damn near perfect. I have literally no gripes with this figure. The only thing, and I think a lot of people are going to say this, but it's something we can't really control, especially if you're not a customizer or if you don't like messing with your figures. It's something we can't really control, and that is the upper body torso. They gave the Daniel Bryan torso, which is fine because we always get that torso with Edge. You know, since day one we've gotten it. And I know he's more ripped up now, and he should have the Finn Balor torso. I do 150% agree with that. But just because I've had too many bad experiences doing torso cracking and stuff, I've like almost freaking cut my hand open. I've had some successful ones, but I just don't feel like it's worth ruining this figure. I just feel like this figure is great the way it is, and I'm going to leave it the way it is. This is by far probably my favorite Edge gear, now having it in hand. I think that the maroonish color going with the gray is just like, it's such a good contrast. We get the freaking devil horns right there, the rock and roll hands on his kick pads with the skull with the flames. I think that just looks great. We get the maroon backside. We get the chunk of the tights being gray. We get the maroon knee pads with the R's on the knees. We get that Edge logo, which is just one of the best logos ever. I do have a t-shirt. Actually, I have this exact t-shirt right here. So it's cool that I'm getting this in cloth form. Very cool. And then there's the logo on the other side. And then we have the R for Rated R Superstar on his crotch area. So overall, very nice tights. I think this is Mattel just did a fantastic job. The only thing too is that they didn't add the chrome shoes right here, which was just like one of the coolest features Edge had. So I don't know, like if I'm gonna add that, because that doesn't seem like it would be too hard to do, or if I'm just gonna leave it. I just think I don't. It's overall a very nice figure, so I don't want to do too much damage to it. And then we get the classic arms with the Edge tattoos. We get the maroon elbow pad, and then we get the I don't know what to call this, the gauntlets or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but these are very cool. Edge started adding that to his gear, and I could have swore that he had wrist tape. I think he only had that for the Rumble, so I think we're getting that in Ultimate Edition form, so can't wait to get that. And then we have the other tattoos. I believe this is this a new tattoo? I could be wrong. I'm not sure, but we do get that elbow pad right there and the other gauntlet. And something I think is funny is I feel like they gave him the 2 sweet hands. I don't know if this was on accident. I think they mistaked it for the rock and roll hands that the previous Edge came with, but that's no biggie. It still looks like a rock and roll sign. And then the main course, we got the Edge, a brand new head sculpt. We get that salt and pepper type look throughout his beard, even though he has blonde hair. And I like how they made his hair darker, because it is darker now than it was before. It's like because I think he puts more water in it, maybe. I'm not sure. But very nice. They made this Edge figure damn near perfect, and I'm very, very grateful. Thank you, Mattel. Thank you so much. This is probably going to be my figure of the year. I don't know. That's kind of pushing it, but I'm going to count this because I got it in my hand in 2020, so I'm going to name this figure of the year for me just because I'm so pumped to finally get this Edge in hand. We do get the mic holding hands right there, which I do appreciate, and then we do get the cloth t-shirt. So we're going to put that on the Edge right now. Opens up on the back. Gonna put the arms through. It's probably gonna be a little tough just because we have the freaking rock and roll hands on, but putting it through the cloth t-shirt. I don't know if this is, I don't know about the Sasha Banks fans, but I'm glad they gave us a cloth t-shirt for Edge, because I would rather got the cloth t-shirt for Edge than a cloth coat for Sasha Banks. But that's just my personal opinion because I'm a huge fan of Edge. But there is the shirt on the Rated R Superstar. Very nice. Fantastic figure. Let's move on. Moving on, we have the King of the Ring, King Corbin, and I cannot wait to dive into this figure and critique it. I am super excited. I actually am very excited to get this figure. I haven't been the biggest King Corbin fan as of late, but I am excited to finally get his figure in hand. So let's crack into this bad boy. Alright, taking my first glance at this King Corbin, I just pulled it right out of the package. We get his little staff thing right here. I don't know what you would call that. I'm just going to say staff. And then we get the King Corbin, and I think it looks very nice. I noted that it's going to be really short compared to some of the other figures. I don't know. I mean, that kind of looks right? He's a little bit taller than this Edge, just a smidge. So I think that's about right. I mean, Edge is supposed to be, what, 6'6", 6'5"-ish? And then King Corbin's supposed to be 6'6", 6'5"-ish, I believe. So we're going to pull out the Drew McIntyre. I think that you're going to run into some issues all the time, no matter what figure line you're collecting through. You're always going to have figures that should be a little bit taller, a little bit shorter, but you can't always get the formula right. You know what I mean? I prefer the Corbin to be a little bit shorter if we are going to get this formula for figure, because I think this is a perfect formula for King Corbin. But let's get this staff out of the way and take a closer look at the bulk of the figure. We do get the Dean Ambrose torso, which I think is totally fine. The arms are kind of small, but you can totally switch those out for the previous Corbin figures. We get the nice tattoos, looking very nice. I do like his tattoos a lot. All that work. And then coming down to the tights, we have the awesome logos King Corbin. I'm not sure if this is Royal Rumble or if it is, what was it, TLC maybe? I am not 100% sure. This might have been King of the Ring. I have no idea. And then it says End of Days on the other side. Actually, I do not think this is Royal Rumble. I think the Royal Rumble had more gold onto the figure, but I think this is a great figure. Getting the crown off. Let's take the crown off. This looks very nice. I've always been a huge fan of King Corbin's crown. I like how he doesn't have like a generic crown. They gave him like something unique to King Corbin. And then we are getting his King cape right here. But I think that it's very unique and very cool, especially for King Corbin, because that's his whole gimmick now is he's the king. I think it's great that they give the you know, the people that become King of the Ring, their own style, just like King Corbin. Like, he has his own style. I just think this looks very nice. Kind of Game of Thrones-ish, less traditional look, but I think this is fantastic. And then we also get, I guess, some people are saying these are throne-sitting hands. I don't know. These just kind of look, you know, these are the Finn Balor hands, but I don't know. I guess these could pass as a... I have no idea. Leave in the comments down below, what are these hands for? I still have no idea, but I do think this Corbin figure is great. There's a head scan. He's all bald and stuff, looking very fantastic, and I'm glad to have this figure in my collection. Not too many complaints with the figure, so let's move on to the final figure in the set. Moving on to the final figure, my favorite wrestler currently, Drew McIntyre, and I know a lot of people are probably going to complain about this just because it's the same figure every single time, but I like how Mattel takes the extra step and gives us something that we don't have or that hasn't came with the Drew McIntyre yet, and they always improve the figures. That's what's always good about the Roman Reigns figures and the Drew McIntyre figures, is even though they're the same for the most part for every figure, there's the slightest changes that make the figure that much more special. But we're going to look at all the great changes that they've added to this Drew McIntyre right now. So here we have the current WWE Champion Drew McIntyre out of the package, and this figure is definitely going to be up there with my favorite figure on this list. I think this figure is fantastic. I actually really like the coat. Even though he doesn't wear it anymore, I'm glad we still got it because he did wear it in his WrestleMania entrance. And one thing I'm going to point out that makes this figure so much better is the skin tone. Drew McIntyre does do spray tans, I believe, now, because he has, like, you know, more of a pale type skin tone, especially on his other figures, but they give him that more tannish look, which makes him look a whole lot more realistic and a whole lot better. But let's take this coat off. Hopefully it's easier than the Sasha Banks one. We got all these cool buckles, all the silver, all that great detail. Totally makes it for the Sasha Banks mess up. But this is just a fantastic coat. Like, they nailed this out of the ballpark. I really like it a lot. Very fantastic. We're also getting the, I don't know, a lot of people call these the Claymore hands. I'm not quite sure what to call them. I call them the Drew McIntyre champion pose. Here, I'll do the pose for you so you can understand what I'm talking about. But when Drew McIntyre is champion, or he just does it in his entrance, especially when he was the Scottish Psychopath, he did this and he did this pose a lot. He would step up on the ring, spotlight would hit him, he would have his coat on, and he would scream, and he has this pose. He does this all the time. So some people call it Claymore hands because he slaps his leg, but I like to call him this pose, I guess, his entrance hands. It does look like, oh Lord, good thing I have other extra knee pads. That is split. Probably going to do the open back knee pads, but let's take a closer look at the trunks. Could be wrong. I'm not sure. This is just on first glance. I don't remember red being on his trunks. I am probably wrong. Totally correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure I am. But these are his Beast Slayer pants. It does have the red on them. I could have swore it was something different, but maybe it is red. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not that observant. And then we have the Beast Incarnate Brock Lesnar's head with the sword through it in the circle. And I swear, like, I thought that because he wore these trunks his entire WWE run, or his WWE Champion run, he never changed the trunks. He always wore these trunks every single time, whether it's Monday Night Raw or on a pay-per-view, he always wore these trunks. And I'm like, you know what? He's probably wearing these trunks because he is going to face Brock Lesnar again. Like, why would this guy wear his Brock Lesnar trunks all the way through his WWE run if Brock Lesnar's not going to come back? But I don't know if plans were canceled, but Randy Orton defeated him and he just got rid of these trunks, so I don't know. But I'm glad we're getting these trunks. These are probably Drew McIntyre's best trunks, and they definitely utilize or represent his WWE Champion run, his first one. And then we have the brand new head sculpt, and this is the best Drew McIntyre head sculpt we have ever had. It looks just like the dude, and I'm glad they gave him a more happy look because he is a babyface. He's not a heel, so I think that's great that we're getting this smiley look. Looks just like him. We get that nice kind of lighter look in the inner parts of his hair. It's not a fade, but I think it's lighter hair. I'm not sure, but it definitely looks realistic, and I like the beard look to it. It overall looks more realistic on this figure. I do think I have a mess up on that beard right there, but I could totally fix that with some nail polish remover. One thing I wish they would have done, I really wish they would have, is change the hair mold. I'm really sick and tired of this, only this part of the hair going right here. Like, maybe put a little bit more hair on this side or make it more spread out or something like that. But that's just my opinion. I don't know. I still think it looks great, but maybe next time change that up. But I think overall this Drew McIntyre figure is great. I think that skin tone does so much for this figure, and it's definitely up there on my list. Best Drew McIntyre figure we have ever gotten, hands down. Only thing that would have made this better is a WWE Championship. But let's get into the top, I guess, 5 list? I don't know. Let's move on to the list. Coming in at number 5, I don't know if this technically counts because it didn't take him out. It is the Dusty Rhodes, and that's just because I didn't take out of the package and take a closer look at it. I just wanted to leave it in the package because I want it mint on card. I think it's one of those figures that one day will be kind of rare and people will be like, oh, remember Elite Series 83, Dusty Rhodes? I don't know. I just feel like this figure should be mint on card, and plus I don't have one mint on card, so very cool. Dusty Rhodes right there. Very excited for this figure, and I'm glad to have it to my mock collection. Very, very cool figure right there. And then we have the Sasha Banks coming in at number 4. I really wish this would have been higher on the list, but there's just like, she's a little wobbly too, and the skin tone difference right there, and then the ankle pivot. I just feel like this figure, like, should have waited a little bit longer and added the right things to it to make it that much better. But I'm still glad we're getting the Sasha Banks. It's long awaited. It's been over a year since I saw this render of Sasha Banks at Ringside Fest, so it's about damn time we got it. But I mean, it's a good figure. It just did not make the top 3 list, but still a very nice Sasha Banks, and I'm glad to have an updated Sasha Banks in my collection, but could have been so much better. And it's down to the top 3. Coming in 3rd place, I think we all saw this one. It is King Corbin himself. I think that this figure is fantastic. I do not have a lot of complaints other than maybe his height, but it is what it is. We get that fantastic crown, fantastic coat. We get the staff. We get the awesome tights. And I think this figure just overall really represents King Corbin. And I think a lot of people are going to have mixed emotions about this, but I'm pretty positive on this figure. Like, I'm not going to crap on this figure. I think it's great. Let's do some freaking size comparisons. I do think that King Corbin is supposed to be an inch taller or so than Drew McIntyre, but they could have made the Drew McIntyre a little too tall. I mean, I think the McIntyre is perfect height, and I think that the Edge and the Corbin size up pretty well, so I don't know what the heck is going on. I don't really care. It is what it is. But, you know, this figure is still fantastic, and that's why it made the top 3 list, and I'm glad it made the top 3 list because I'm glad this is not a letdown of a figure, unlike that one, unfortunately. Still glad to have that figure, but that's kind of a letdown. This figure is not a letdown, and I'm glad to have it in my collection. Let's move to the top 2. And moving to 1st place, or 2nd place, I guess, not 1st place. I guess 2nd and 1st place at the same time, because when I announce the 2nd place winner, you automatically know who's in 1st place. So let's announce this. In 2nd place, we have Drew McIntyre. I wish this was 1st place, but the Edge was just too good. Edge did come in 1st place, and I think both of these figures are fantastic. I just think they're great in their own ways. I do think that the height could be a little off. It is what it is. I don't want them to change up this formula for Drew. I think it's perfect. And I like the trunks. I like the skin tone. I like the new head sculpt. And I think this Edge is just overall a freaking masterpiece. And if you're more of a display type person and you want to display your figures, and you're bothered by the torso, you could totally just put their shirt on and then you can't see the torso. Or if you're good at torso cracking, go ahead and do that, but do it safely. I'm not going to torso crack mine. I like my Edge the way it is. I don't want to ruin it. And I just think this is a fresh looking figure, and it's definitely my figure of the year. Originally it was going to be the Hollywood Hogan, but I'm just super impressed with this Edge figure right here. So yeah, guys, that was my thoughts and review on the Elite Series 83 figures. This is the last. Oh God, I can't even say it. This is the last Elite Series of 2020, closing this year off. This video might be uploaded after New Year's and all that stuff. Just because I got my series a little late in the mail than some of the other people, but that's totally fine. I'm glad I'm still getting this review out. Once again, guys, you can go to Ringside Collectibles, use discount code Tanner, TANN, all caps, save 10% at checkout. Ringside Collectibles is the ultimate place to get all your wrestling figures. It is the best place to build your ginormous Mattel collection. I definitely recommend going and checking them out, taking advantage of their sales, using my discount code. All the links are in the description down below. Thanks for watching, guys. WWE Fan Talk Show out. Bye.